In the intricate dance of human interactions, the line between respect and disregard can often blur, particularly when feelings are openly expressed. When you tell someone, "I like you," only to be met with indifference, it isn't just a personal slight, it's a confrontation with a larger issue. Women, like anyone else, respond to the energy you exude. If that energy is filled with uncertainty or self-doubt, it may unintentionally invite disregard, echoing across your interactions like a silent alarm signaling vulnerability. Today's video delves into this dynamic, offering a blueprint for men to recalibrate their approach and assert their dignity with confidence. Drawing upon the robust philosophy of Stoicism, we will uncover how to engage with poise and respect, addressing the challenges of inflated egos and transforming interactions that may have once felt demeaning. We will explore strategic ways to assert yourself that not only safeguard your self-respect, but also diminish the false bravado that can sometimes dominate your interactions with certain women. By grounding your actions in Stoic principles, you'll learn to maintain a calm demeanor, respond with intention, and reclaim control of the narrative. This approach not only addresses the immediate issues of respect and recognition, but also sets the foundation for healthier, more balanced relationships. Stay with us as we break down these 9 strategies, step by step, ensuring that you leave with a toolkit that empowers you to command respect and challenge any undue arrogance with grace and effectiveness. If this perspective resonates with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with more content that uplifts and educates. Now, let's begin. Number 1. Disregard her presence. At first glance, this approach might seem counterintuitive. Why would ignoring someone work in your favor? But this is where the power of Stoicism shines, revealing deeper truths about human behavior and how maintaining control over your own actions can influence others. Women, in many cases, are accustomed to being at the center of attention, especially when men are involved. This attention can inflate their egos, and when it becomes routine, they come to expect it. But what happens when they don't receive it? That's when things get interesting. Let's break it down with an example. You're at a social event, and there's a woman who clearly commands attention. Men gather around her, complimenting her looks, hanging on her every word, and subtly, or not so subtly, competing for her approval. She's well aware of the effect she has, and her ego grows with every glance, every word spoken in admiration. But now, imagine you step into the scene, not chasing her, not hanging on her every word, but instead staying focused on your own conversations, your own goals, and maintaining your inner peace. You don't get caught up in the game of boosting her ego. You just exist calmly, showing through your actions that you are not driven by the need to impress or gain her validation. This lack of attention does something powerful. It disrupts her expectations. Most people thrive on attention, and women who are used to being pursued often take that attention for granted. By disregarding her presence, you send a clear signal. You are not desperate for her approval. You're telling her without words that you are in control of your own emotions and that your self-worth isn't tied to her validation. This action taps into a key Stoic principle: maintaining control over what is within your power and letting go of what is not. You can't control her behavior, but you can control how you respond to it. In doing this, you trigger a reaction. When someone expects admiration and doesn't get it, they naturally start questioning why. Why isn't he paying attention to me? This thought introduces doubt, and that doubt makes her curious. Your lack of attention creates a sense of mystery, something she can't easily figure out. Most men, by constantly chasing her, only inflate her ego. But you, by disregarding her presence, send the message that you are confident in who you are and what you stand for. This is the power of Stoicism in relationships. By not chasing, you elevate yourself. You're no longer one of the many men seeking her approval. Instead, you embody self-respect and discipline, the pillars of Stoic thought. The more you distance yourself from the need to validate, the more she will be drawn to you, as people are often intrigued by what they cannot easily have. Your indifference makes her wonder what sets you apart, why you're unaffected by her charm, and most importantly, why she's now thinking about you. Stoicism teaches that external things, like attention or validation, are beyond our control. What is within our control is how we choose to respond to the situation. In this case, by choosing not to chase, you not only protect your peace, but also create a dynamic where she begins to question her own behavior. This is how you challenge her ego, by showing through action that her presence doesn't dictate your emotions or self-worth. In essence, this approach transforms the dynamic. You're no longer at the mercy of her ego or her expectations. You're the one in control, and she starts to notice that. As she wrestles with the sudden lack of attention, she'll realize that the validation she seeks can only come from your calm, composed nature. That's the power of disregarding her presence. Number 2, enhance your value. One of the most profound lessons in life is realizing that your worth isn't tied to someone else's attention, affection, or approval. When a woman ignores you, it's easy to let your mind spiral, wondering what you did wrong or how you can win her back. But the Stoics teach us a timeless truth. True strength comes from within. To remove a woman's ego from the equation, you must stop focusing on her and turn inward. The real battle is not about getting her to notice you again. It's about enhancing your own value and transforming yourself into someone who doesn't seek validation from anyone else. Every day is an opportunity to improve yourself, and that improvement begins with setting personal goals that push you beyond your comfort zone. Explore new hobbies that reignite your curiosity, whether it's learning a new instrument, developing a skill, or diving deeper into a passion you've set aside. Spend quality time with family and friends who support and uplift you, as these moments ground you in what truly matters. These actions not only expand your capabilities, but also shift your focus away from obsessing over someone who's indifferent toward you. In doing so, you begin to separate your sense of self from her perception of you. The Stoics believed that our worth is determined by our actions, thoughts, and mindset, not by external factors. A woman's rejection, her ignoring your calls, or her distancing herself, none of these actions have the power to define who you are unless you allow them to. Stoic wisdom encourages us to embrace rejection as a tool for growth. Let her behavior be the catalyst for your personal development, using it to fuel your ambitions and reminding yourself that the right person will come into your life when you are fully in control of your own value. This is the Stoic way, understanding that what happens outside of us is largely beyond our control, but how we react and grow from it is entirely up to us. For example, imagine you've been texting a woman, trying to make plans, but she keeps brushing you off or ghosting you. Instead of wasting mental energy dissecting her actions or waiting for her to change, redirect that energy toward yourself. Maybe it's time to hit the gym more consistently, not just to look better, but to feel better. Physical exercise releases endorphins, known to boost your mood and improve mental clarity. This clarity is key to making smarter, more grounded decisions, helping you avoid the trap of emotional reactions. You see, when you focus on your own growth, her ego begins to lose its power over you. Her ignoring you no longer becomes an issue because you're too busy becoming the best version of yourself. She might have expected you to chase after her, seek answers, or crave her attention. But by walking the Stoic path, you remove her ability to control your emotions. Your silence, your self-assuredness, and your commitment to bettering yourself speak volumes. This is how you remove a woman's ego, by rising above the need for her approval. You show her, and more importantly yourself, that you don't need her to validate your worth. Consider the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who reminds us, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." This is the essence of the Stoic mindset. A woman's rejection, her coldness, her indifference, these are all external circumstances beyond your control. But your response, your decision to focus on self-improvement, is what will set you apart. You might start investing more time into your career, setting higher goals for yourself, or even exploring new paths of personal development like meditation or journaling, both of which help maintain emotional balance and inner peace. By consistently improving yourself, you make it clear that your value does not hinge on whether a woman is interested in you. Instead, you demonstrate that your value is rooted in your personal growth, resilience, and inner strength. Over time, you'll notice that her actions no longer affect you, and in many cases, she may begin to notice this shift as well. There's something undeniably attractive about a man who doesn't waver in the face of rejection, a man who knows his worth and continues to elevate himself regardless of who is or isn't paying attention. Ultimately, the goal isn't to make her miss you or chase after you, but to become so focused on your journey of self-improvement that her ego becomes irrelevant. Your growth, discipline, and confidence will speak for themselves. This is how you remove a woman's ego, not by trying to manipulate her behavior, but by rising above the need for her attention. When you live this way, everything else, relationships, success, happiness, falls into place naturally. Before we move on to the next point, I'd love to hear from you. If this message resonates, drop a comment sharing your thoughts or simply type, "I can define my worth." Let's create a community where we all strive for personal growth and resilience. Your value comes from within, and the power of enhancing yourself is a lifelong journey. Now, let's dive into the third key point in mastering this mindset. Number 3. Conceal your struggles. Picture this. You're in the midst of a difficult situation, perhaps something at work or a personal challenge that weighs heavily on you. Yet when you interact with her, none of this turmoil shows. You remain composed, calm and steady, as if nothing could shake you. This embodies the essence of following Stoic principles, especially when it comes to concealing your struggles. It's not about hiding who you are, it's about mastering your emotions and demonstrating that you possess an inner strength that isn't easily disrupted. In Stoicism, a key lesson is that external events are beyond our control, but how we react to them defines who we are. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This wisdom applies directly to how you interact with women. By keeping your challenges to yourself and not showing signs of emotional instability, you project an aura of calm confidence that most people find difficult to resist. When a woman sees that you're untroubled by minor inconveniences and even major challenges, it disrupts her expectations and dismantles any sense of control she may try to exert over you. For example, if you're facing a stressful situation at work and it's weighing heavily on you, instead of venting or seeking validation from her by sharing your frustrations, you maintain a cool and relaxed demeanor. You handle your personal affairs with dignity and poise, acting as though everything is under control. Most men might let their stress seep into their interactions, but not you. Your ability to conceal your struggles not only protects your own peace of mind, but also subtly sends a powerful message. "I am unshaken." This approach removes any space for her ego to feed on emotional reactions you might typically display. Women, like all humans, tend to test boundaries and push emotional buttons, often unconsciously, to gauge the strength and stability of the person they are dealing with. When she makes a sarcastic comment or subtly challenges your authority, the man who reacts emotionally only strengthens her ego. Conversely, the man who remains unflustered, who responds with calmness or even a smile, sends the message that he is in complete control, not just of the situation, but of himself. Imagine she's upset about something trivial and expects you to react with frustration or defensiveness. Instead, you maintain a polite and respectful tone, addressing the issue calmly without allowing it to shake your foundation. You deflect the tension not by avoiding the issue, but by refusing to let it provoke an emotional reaction. This doesn't just disarm her, it makes her ego shrink. She starts to see that you're not a man who is easily manipulated by emotions or external circumstances. The Stoics believed that our power lies in our ability to govern ourselves, to remain rational and composed in the face of adversity. By concealing your struggles, you demonstrate that power. You show her that no matter what's happening beneath the surface, you are in control of your emotional state. This quiet strength, this ability to remain composed, creates an aura of respect and admiration. It shows that you are not dependent on her for validation or comfort, which in turn makes you more attractive to her. Why? Because true strength is inherently attractive. It commands attention without seeking it. By not revealing your internal struggles, you remove her ego from the dynamic. She begins to realize that she has no control over your emotional state, which forces her to confront her own insecurities. Her power over you diminishes, and instead she starts to admire the steadiness and strength that you naturally exude. As the Stoics teach, it is not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters most. So, the next time you face a challenge, remember to keep it to yourself. Stay calm and let your actions, not your emotions, speak for you. Number 4. Thrive without her. Imagine a life where you are completely in control of your own happiness, not reliant on anyone else, especially not her. This is the essence of Stoicism, mastering the art of thriving without depending on external factors, including relationships. When you embrace this mindset, you naturally remove a woman's ego from the equation, regaining the strength that comes from self-sufficiency. In today's world, it's easy for women to get caught up in the praise and attention provided by social media. They are constantly validated by likes, comments, and admirers, which inflates their sense of importance. Many women begin to believe that they are the center of someone else's world, that their presence is the source of another's happiness. This is where the Stoic mindset becomes your greatest asset. You don't rely on anyone else to bring you joy. Instead, you find fulfillment in your own pursuits, passions, and personal growth. For example, if you've just ended a relationship and feel a void in your life, many men fall into the trap of believing their happiness was solely tied to that woman. But this belief gives her too much power over you. Instead of dwelling on her absence, focus on filling that void with something meaningful. Learn a new skill, dive into a hobby, or travel solo. The key is to demonstrate first to yourself and then to the world that you are more than capable of living a rich and fulfilling life without her. When she sees you thriving, whether through your successes at work, your personal growth, or simply enjoying time with friends, it challenges her ego. She may have expected you to fall apart or need her validation, but when you don't, it leaves her questioning her own importance. This is the beauty of Stoicism. Your joy is not dependent on anyone else. You might struggle to enjoy yourself at first, but this is where Stoic resilience comes in. Even if the joy doesn't come immediately, maintain the appearance of confidence and contentment. Don't let her or anyone else see you falter. Over time, as you invest in yourself, that facade will become reality, and you'll realize that not only do you survive without her, you thrive. This approach deflates a woman's ego because it shows her that your world does not revolve around her. You've taken control of your own happiness, and in doing so, you've removed the power she thought she had over you. True strength lies in this independence, and by embracing it, you embody the Stoic principle of inner fortitude. Now is the time to challenge yourself, not just to survive in her absence, but to thrive. When you thrive without her, you not only become more powerful, you become untouchable. Now that you've seen how thriving without her is a true testament to your strength and independence, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this powerful concept. Have you experienced a similar journey of reclaiming your happiness? Drop a comment below and share your story, or simply write, "Not just survive, but thrive." If this message resonates with you, your insights could inspire others walking the same path. Up next, we'll dive into a crucial topic: avoiding premature commitment, where the wrong moves early on can lead to long-term challenges. Let's explore how Stoicism helps you navigate this wisely. Number 5. Avoid premature commitment. In today's fast-paced world, particularly with the influence of social media, it's all too easy for men to fall into the trap of seeking validation from women. We live in a culture where likes, comments, and attention can feel like currency. And this dynamic encourages men to chase after approval, often without even realizing it. Many men rush to compliment women, thinking that this flattery will win their favor. However, constantly showering a woman with attention can have the opposite effect. It can inflate her ego, placing her on a pedestal above you. Stoic philosophy teaches us that our worth should never depend on external validation. The Stoics understood that the more we seek approval from others, the more we give away our own power. Complimenting a woman isn't inherently wrong, but when it's done with the intent to gain approval or validation, you start to lose control over your emotions. You place her in a position of power, and over time, this dynamic can lead her to believe that she's the prize, while you are the one chasing after her. This feeds into her ego, making her feel as though she holds all the cards in the relationship. Imagine a man who constantly asks his partner, "Do you still love me?" Or, "Are you really interested in me?" By repeatedly seeking reassurance, he is not only questioning the relationship, but also his own self-worth. This behavior signals to the woman that he lacks confidence and is dependent on her for his sense of value. Over time, she may begin to feel she can manipulate the relationship, whether consciously or unconsciously, because she knows he is always seeking her approval. This constant need for validation inflates her ego, giving her control over the emotional dynamic. Instead of chasing after her approval or prematurely seeking commitment, take a step back and apply the principles of Stoicism. A Stoic man remains calm and composed, understanding that his value comes from within, not from the opinions of others. This approach shifts the power dynamic. When you no longer seek validation from a woman, you no longer inflate her ego. By maintaining your own emotional independence, you show that you don't need constant reassurance, which in turn makes her respect you more. Refrain from asking questions that seek premature commitment, such as, "Are we exclusive?" or "Do you see a future with me?" Instead, let her actions guide you. Observe how she behaves and whether her values align with yours without rushing into emotional dependency. This doesn't mean you should avoid commitment altogether. Rather, it means you should only consider it once you've thoroughly assessed whether she is truly the right person for you. Commitment should come from a place of mutual respect, not from fear of losing her or from a need for validation. A Stoic man avoids rushing into commitment because he understands that true connections are built on mutual respect and genuine interest, not on neediness or a desire to control. He avoids the trap of dependency by focusing on himself first, ensuring that his emotional stability isn't tied to someone else's approval. In doing so, he removes the opportunity for her to develop an inflated ego and instead creates a dynamic where both parties come together as equals. By following this Stoic mindset, you are not only protecting yourself from emotional dependence, but also ensuring that the woman you are with respects and values you. Don't give away your power by seeking premature validation. Let the relationship develop naturally on its own terms without pushing for it. When the time is right, you'll know whether she's worthy of your commitment, and she'll appreciate the man who has the strength and confidence to wait rather than rush. Number 6. Embrace independence as power. Independence is the foundation for mastering not only your own life, but also the way others perceive you. When a woman sees that you don't place her on a pedestal, it forces her to confront her own ego. She realizes she cannot control you, and that's where real respect begins to grow. By committing to your goals, whether it's advancing your career, focusing on personal growth, or achieving financial success, you make it clear that your life's purpose is not centered around her. This isn't about neglecting her, but about setting boundaries that signal you are in control of your own destiny. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of self-reliance and inner strength, and a man who follows these principles will never allow anyone to dictate his actions or decisions. This includes not letting a woman's desires steer him off course. Imagine a scenario where she asks you to cancel an important business trip because she feels insecure about your absence. A man without a strong sense of independence might cave in, believing that by doing so, he's proving his care for her. However, the truth is, in surrendering his plans, he loses her respect. Deep down, she knows he's sacrificing his own goals just to avoid conflict. A Stoic man, on the other hand, stands firm. He goes ahead with his plans calmly and confidently, explaining why this trip is crucial for his career or personal development. He knows that fulfilling his commitments to himself far outweighs any temporary approval he might gain by giving in to her request. This act of following through on his own priorities is what silently removes her ego. She begins to see that she can't influence or manipulate him, and in doing so, her perception of him shifts from one of control to admiration. She respects the fact that he's not afraid to stand his ground, even if it means disappointing her in the short term. The truth is, if you always agree with her to keep the peace, you not only diminish your own value, but also unknowingly encourage her to take you for granted. Over time, this can erode her respect for you because she sees you as someone willing to compromise your own principles just to keep her happy. Women don't truly respect men who can be easily swayed. They respect men who have the courage to stick to their convictions. This is where independence plays a vital role. When you prioritize your own path and make decisions based on what's best for your life, you set yourself apart as a man of strength. Women are naturally drawn to men who lead with confidence and purpose. When you demonstrate that your life doesn't revolve around pleasing her, it sends a powerful message that you are in control, and no amount of persuasion or emotional influence can sway your resolve. This doesn't mean you become cold or distant, but rather that you show her through your actions that you are steadfast in your values and committed to achieving your own success. A man who embraces independence commands a deeper level of respect. This, in turn, causes her to adjust her behavior, lowering her ego as she realizes that her influence has limits. She begins to see that your strength lies not in following her every whim, but in maintaining your own direction. By staying true to yourself, you become the man she admires and respects because she knows you are not someone who can be easily controlled. So what are your thoughts on embracing independence as power? Drop a comment below and share your perspective. If this resonates with you, type "Independence is power" to let us know you're on board with this mindset. We value your voice, so don't hesitate to chime in. Now, let's move on to the next essential point. Cultivate multiple options. This strategy is key in ensuring you're never reliant on one person for validation or approval. By keeping your options open, you maintain leverage and confidence in any relationship. Number 7. Cultivate multiple options. Imagine walking into any situation with the confidence that you are not reliant on just one outcome. That's where your power truly lies. Stoicism teaches us that we are not defined by external circumstances, but by how we choose to interpret them. In relationships, especially with women, this mindset is crucial. The moment you stop limiting yourself to one option is when you begin to radiate true confidence and magnetism. A man with multiple choices commands attention effortlessly, and that's something women find irresistible. For example, let's say you're out on a date and everything is going well. You're engaging, confident, and fully in the moment. But here's the key difference. You're not fixated solely on her. While you're present with her, you're also aware of the environment around you. Maybe you exchange a friendly smile with the waitress or engage briefly in conversation with another woman. This subtle acknowledgement of others signals that you're not solely seeking her approval, which in turn makes you more intriguing. You can elevate this further by staying connected with other women. During the date, you might casually check your phone and send a quick text to another woman or answer a call from a female friend. You're not doing this to be disrespectful or rude, but to demonstrate that your life is rich with connections. By doing so, you're showing her that she is not your sole source of attention or validation. This act, though subtle, can have a profound psychological impact. From a Stoic perspective, this is about understanding your worth and not letting external validation define you. When you have an abundance of options, you naturally adopt a mindset of freedom and independence. You're no longer seeking approval from any one person, especially not from a woman whose ego may be inflated by the belief that she holds all the cards. As Stoicism reminds us, value lies in scarcity. What is rare is desired most. By presenting yourself as a man with choices, you become that rare and desirable person, and her inflated ego begins to soften. Here's the psychological shift. As soon as she realizes she's not your only focus, her ego, once bolstered by the assumption that she has control over you, will begin to diminish. She'll start to notice that you're not chasing her, and that very absence of neediness will make her more attentive to you. She'll instinctively work harder to capture your interest because people always desire what they fear losing. This is a practical application of Stoic wisdom in relationships. You're showing her, without words, that your world does not revolve around her. You have options, and you're not afraid to let her see that. By doing this, you're stripping away any sense of entitlement she may have, and subtly reminding her that if she doesn't step up, there are others who will. You'll notice this shift in a matter of days. Her demeanor will change from overconfident to more humble, and she will begin putting in the effort to win your attention. She'll become more eager to impress you, more considerate of your time, and more invested in making the relationship work. In short, by embracing an abundant mindset and subtly showcasing your other options, you'll effectively remove her ego from the equation. By doing so, you'll not only regain control of the dynamic, but also command the respect and attention that truly confident men deserve. Number 8. Stay unimpressed. As a man of value, it's crucial to cultivate the mindset of being unimpressed. not just by appearances, but by any superficial qualities a woman may possess. In today's world, it's easy to be swayed by external beauty, but true power lies in how you manage your emotions and reactions. From a Stoic perspective, staying indifferent to a woman's physical allure is a reflection of your self-control and inner strength. The Stoics remind us that external things are beyond our control, and to be swayed by them is to lose a part of our inner power. So what if she has an attractive figure or a stunning face? These qualities, while appealing, are temporary and common. As a man who embodies Stoic principles, you understand that beauty alone is not enough to gain your admiration. What truly matters is character, virtue, and how she carries herself beyond her looks. When you encounter her at a social event, resist the urge to shower her with compliments or place her on a pedestal. In fact, avoid approaching her with unnecessary flattery. This would only feed her ego and inflate her sense of self-importance. Imagine this scenario. You meet a woman who is accustomed to receiving attention because of her appearance. Men often fawn over her, offering compliments about her beauty. Now, when you step into the picture and remain calm, composed, and unimpressed by her looks, it disrupts the dynamic she is used to. Instead of praising her appearance, you might comment on her kindness, intelligence, or how well she engages in conversation. Better yet, save your compliments until she has shown appreciation or respect for you. By doing this, you subtly communicate that her looks alone do not dictate your attention or respect, and that you value deeper qualities. This approach not only keeps you grounded, but also keeps her ego in check. When she notices that you aren't overwhelmed by her beauty like others are, it challenges her sense of importance. She may even begin to question why you aren't like the other men. This is where your Stoic discipline shines, as you've trained yourself to remain emotionally stable even in the face of temptation. By staying unimpressed, you reinforce the truth that your worth is not dictated by someone else's looks, and you remain in control of your actions. Women, especially those used to being complimented for their physical attributes, will sense your inner strength when you don't feed their ego. The less reactive you are to her appearance, the more she'll be drawn to understand why you stand apart from other men. This is the power of Stoicism in action. By staying composed and maintaining your focus on what truly matters, you not only keep your peace of mind but also shift the dynamic in your favor. Number 9. Establish firm boundaries. Establishing firm boundaries is crucial for maintaining both self-respect and value, principles deeply understood by the Stoics. As a man seeking control over his emotions and interactions, it's vital to protect your inner circle and only allow those who truly earn a place in your life. Don't be someone who opens the door for anyone, especially a woman who hasn't yet proven she deserves that closeness. In Stoicism, we learn that boundaries are not about rejection, but about protecting your inner peace and focusing on what truly matters. When you're selective about who enters your life, you demonstrate that your time, energy, and presence are valuable. For instance, imagine you're getting to know a woman and you immediately let her into your personal life, revealing all your struggles, emotions, and vulnerabilities. Many men mistakenly believe that being overly open will bring them closer to a woman, thinking that vulnerability will somehow forge a stronger bond. However, what often happens is the opposite. She may lose respect, feel less challenged, and her ego may inflate as she starts seeing herself as the center of your world. The Stoic man, however, is wise and measured. He understands that allowing familiarity too soon can weaken his position and undermine his sense of self-worth. Instead, he maintains a healthy distance, allowing her to earn her place in his inner circle. By protecting your space, you not only preserve your self-worth, but also create an aura of exclusivity. This distance allows her to see that your world is not easily entered, and it humbles her ego by making her realize that your approval and trust are things that must be earned, not given freely. You don't need to explain this boundary to her. She will feel it through your actions. The moment you guard your energy and attention, you preserve your self-worth and create an environment where she must strive to be a part of it. This approach is rooted in Stoic principles, where self-control and emotional discipline are paramount. You must resist the urge to be overly accessible or to give too much of yourself too soon. If you let every woman into your close circle, it diminishes your value and leaves you vulnerable to being taken for granted. Boundaries force others to earn their place, which naturally humbles their ego. By setting these limits early on, you become a man who is sought after, not one who is easily discarded. Here's the key. When you establish firm boundaries, you create a dynamic where she must put effort into earning your attention and respect. She'll begin to appreciate what you offer because it's not given without merit. It's human nature to value what is scarce and to seek what we cannot easily obtain. By guarding your inner circle, she learns that being part of your life is a privilege, not a given. A Stoic man understands that his time and energy are precious, and not everyone is worthy of sharing them. Let her see that your attention is something she must work for, and in doing so, her ego will be kept in check while your respect remains intact. She'll strive to meet your standards, and in that process, she will become more invested in you. This practice not only empowers you but also strengthens the quality of your relationships, ensuring that the people you allow close to you genuinely appreciate your presence. In the end, setting firm boundaries is about maintaining your integrity and holding yourself in high regard. A central Stoic principle. Protect your space, and in doing so, you'll see that others will naturally respect you more, including the woman who strives to be part of your life. As we wrap up today's exploration of Stoicism and its application in relationships, it's clear that maintaining your dignity and self-respect is paramount. By applying the strategies discussed, such as disregarding excessive attention-seeking behavior and focusing on personal growth, you reclaim control over your interactions and ultimately your life's narrative. This Stoic approach isn't just about responding to indifference. It's about redefining your worth independently of external validation and cultivating a presence that commands respect naturally. Now, it's your turn. How do you resonate with these principles? Have you applied any of these strategies in your own life? Let's keep the conversation going. Drop a comment below sharing your thoughts or experiences. Rate this video from 1 to 5, where 1 is the lowest and 5 is the highest, to let us know how we did and what you'd like to see next. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more empowering content like this. Your engagement helps us grow and continue providing valuable insights. Also, take a moment to check out the recommended videos on your screen for more tips and strategies to enhance your life with Stoic wisdom. Thank you for watching, and remember, in the pursuit of personal excellence, stay tuned for more and let's keep striving for greatness together.